The era of Andor, ladies and gentlemen, is coming up to a close, and I thought we would do a little bit of a retrospective. A retrospective is where we get all retro and go to the 70s disco. No, that's not what it is at all. We're just going to go back and look at some stuff, okay? Cool. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, I would like to ask you a quick question. If you can let me know in the comments section down below. Have you enjoyed the units from the era of Andor? Have you invested in 4 or 5 star unlocks? Have you gone all the way, maybe getting a 7-star unlock for your Cassian Andor brackets undercover? I want to know, just generally speaking, to see if the people watching this video are going to reflect what we're going to see in terms of numbers for the unlock, because I think that is pivotal. So a couple of things then, as we begin here. Era of Andor, just wrapping up, KX Security Droid, he is still in his first marquee week, so when we look at these numbers, we do have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because there is still potentially a week and a half left for people to unlock Cassian Andor and maybe pump those numbers up a little bit higher. So, take that into account when we look at it, but I would imagine that most people that would have got the unlock for Cassian Andor would have done it once Major Partygasm in the back came to the game and people started unlocking him, right? That's when I imagine the lion's share of the Cassian Andors were unlocked, but I could be wrong. Like I said, there's still about a week and a half left for people to do that. Secondly, we have actually had a little bit of a hint from Meathead about the return of Maul. I mean Maul undercover here. So let's quickly go ahead, check out Maul real quick. As you know, we spoke about this recently in my video, just the other day in fact, where we're speaking about we have the requirements for Maul in the game now. Used to be, you could get the 4-star, the 5-star unlocks, and you could do it essentially at very low levels of gear, and you got lightspeed tokens. With the last update, we actually had those requirements that are going in for the full unlock when it is no longer a journey guide event, and yes, it's harder now. You need to have 7-star units. They need to be Relic 6, and you get the full unlock at Relic 6. I'm not really that fussed by this change. I think it's a reasonable thing for CG to do. They're saying, hey, look, if you invest during the time that the error is around, you're going to have it a little bit easier. You'll get a lower star unlock, and you'll be able to use him straight away. You'll also get access to those lightspeed tokens. If you've let it go into a legacy event, essentially, you miss out on all the good juicy businesses, and it's a lot harder to get that unlock. I don't really mind that per se. It's okay in my book. Relic 6 is still not a very high level of requirements in my mind, right? So, with the change and the giving of these actual requirements now, it was theorized, largely by pretty much everybody, that Maul is probably coming back soon. Now, we originally saw that when the post for Maul came out originally, it said stuff about it was going to be a significant amount of time before it came back. It looks like that's not going to be the case. So there is this one small message from Meathead, and that's this one over here. This was on the Swigger Events Discord server, where a lot of the data mining is all done. It's where a lot of discussion is, and Meathead is actually pretty active in that Discord in general. It's a good place to be. Go ahead and check out the Swigger Events Discord server. So anyway, gentleman over here called Atty, shout out to Atty if you're in the chat, in the comments down below, go say hi Atty. Hi Atty. He says, is one of the Maul's events return? Meathead said, I cannot give the date of its return, but it'd be pretty easy to guess. And that's on the 22nd. So that was 4 days ago that Meathead said that comment. And I would suggest, I would extrapolate when you take into account that they've put the requirements in with this last update, and we have something pretty significant coming up soon in May the 4th, or Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you and all that. I think it's probably quite likely that with the next era update, we are going to see a return of the Maul event. Now, this is going to pose some difficulties for people because Darth Vader's dual end isn't exactly properly farmable. Right now, as it stands, we can only get Darth Vader dual's end through weekly shipments, and that's not exactly cheap. It works out at, I believe, 80 crystals per shard. So if Maul is coming back, probably in the next week or two, probably 2 weeks, truth be told, you don't have a whole lot of time to farm Vader. I think Vader is supposed to go farmable, like, in about 2 weeks. I think we've only just had, I can't even remember who the last unit was. Was it Inquisitor Barriss? Could have been Barris. I think it was Barris, right? I think Barris is farmable now. And I think she went live this last week. So, you know, I think Vader is still 2 weeks out, essentially, before we get him. Like a week Tuesday, essentially. So you're not really going to have any time to farm out Darth Vader Duel's End, which means the only option people are going to have in order to unlock him, realistically speaking, is by using these weekly shipments. 80 crystals per shard. It gets a little bit pricey, ladies and gentlemen. I've just seen that my mod energy is full and I desperately need to go ahead and sort that out. I need some defense mods. Give it to me. Yummy. All right. So, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those were words coming out of my mouth, I promise you. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have got some indication that Maul is probably coming back for the next era. Probably coming back as part of the May the 4th celebrations. It would kind of make sense, okay? Cassian Andor, on the other hand, isn't going to be around for much longer. He will be around. His event is going to be around until the end of this era. And then it will disappear and you're probably not going to see him for 3 months, okay? So let's go Journey Guide. We'll go over to Cassian. And we can see over here, it is still currently live. That will disappear once this episode track is gone. We've got 9 days and 6 hours left, okay? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a look and see how many people went and unlocked Maul and how many people went and unlocked Cassian. Give me your predictions right now in the chat. Give me your predictions. Do you think there'll be more people unlocking Maul or more people unlocking Cassian? So in order for us to do this, we go over to swigger.gg. Swigger.gg is a great repository of information. It pulls from the live API into the game and can get a ton of really useful information, right? Most notably which, player data. We can get player data on every single player in the game. And we can see over here, consider from the player data of 107,389 units, which is probably about a quarter of the active player base, or at least a quarter of the active accounts in the game, because we tend to hover around about 400,000 players in this game. About a quarter of the people playing actually unlocked Maul, which is pretty cool. Now, I'm not going to bother looking at stuff like gear level and stuff like that, because Maul, we can actually gear him after the fact, whereas Cassian, he is still going to be restricted by error leveling. And some people will have unlocked Cassian and just not bothered putting error levels on him, or not put many error levels on him. And they definitely won't be going up to like Relic 7, 8, 9, because that's actually impossible, or 10 for that matter. Whereas there are going to be people that have taken Maul all the way up. Why am I not seeing Relic 10? There we go, Relic 10. So there are actually 1,555 people that have gone all the way and R10'd Maul. Not surprising, because he is part of an error battle. I'm sure we'll see something very similar happen with Cassian. We are probably going to get an error battle for Cassian and the ISB units, as well as the Rebel Fighter units. And they will require a Cassian at Relic 10 to do that top tier. I will be doing that. I'll do some video guides on it and show you what the event is like. But generally speaking, those error battles are really good ROI. Okay, cool. So, 107,389 people went and unlocked Maul. How are we looking for Cassian? Higher or lower? Higher or lower? Higher or lower? Higher or lower? So here we are, Cassian Andor. Now, again, I imagine these numbers are going to be much lower because, one, there's still a week and a half left of this era for people to actually unlock Cassian, and two, I actually think that this era is just kind of, you know, I think it feels like people just aren't that enthused about this era, so I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers are lower. Okay, so top 100 guilds, 4,520. Maul was 107,000, remember? And wow, okay, out of everybody in the game right now, 66,504 people have unlocked Cassian. That is significantly lower. That is significantly lower. Yeah, that's nearly half what we had for Maul. Again, I'm not surprised, but I'm also kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised. I also would not be surprised if we have far fewer people unlocking the KX security droid as well. Dear me. Dear me. Now, I am going to check in on these numbers once we've got to the end of the era, because I want to see how does this number change, but 66,000. Hooey, that is bad. That is, yeah. Or maybe it's just that 107,000 was a really good high amount of people unlocking Maul. I don't know. Because even from my perspective, I expected there to be quite a few people unlocking Cassian because of the Lightspeed tokens, right? Getting that 4-star unlock alone is worth the 2 Lightspeed tokens, and it's really accessible. Getting the 5-star is quite a bit harder, but still doable for many people, especially if you've bought the episode pass. So I was thinking a lot of players would still be trying to push just to get those Lightspeed tokens, because they are worthwhile. But first impressions, looks like that's not quite the case right now. Oh my days, oh me, oh my. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check this out in just a couple of days and see where this is really going, because, ouch, I guess. Maybe I'm exaggerating here. Maybe 66,504 Cassian unlocks really isn't so bad, but when you compare it to the Maul unlocks, it does look kind of bad. Anyway, I'm hopeful that we're still going to see something really cool coming up. New era coming up soon. Hopefully it's going to be something engaging. Probably something Mando and Grogu related. Hopefully we see stuff about new raid. Hopefully we see stuff about new galactic legend. Hopefully new game mode that isn't maybe era-based PvP. I don't know. I'm still not enthused about that idea. That idea does not enthuse me too much. Okay. Answers on a postcard. Did you get it right? Did you? Okay, cool. I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.